My friends, today I want to talk to you about a moment in your life when God is getting ready to do something big, something extraordinary, something that will change your path forever. It is a time of preparation, a time of refining, a time when the hand of the Almighty is moving in ways that you may not fully understand. But if you open your heart, if you listen with the ears of faith, you will begin to see the signs. God never moves in silence. He always leaves a trail of His presence, a whisper in the wind, a stirring in your soul, a shift in the atmosphere around you. When He is about to bless you beyond what you can imagine, He will show you these signs. One of the first things you will notice is a period of discomfort. You see, God does not bring His greatest blessings into your life while you remain in the same place, thinking the same way, doing the same things. No, He begins by stirring your spirit, by making you restless, by allowing situations to arise that push you out of your comfort zone. You may find that things you once relied on begin to fall apart. Friendships that seemed unbreakable begin to fade, and opportunities that you thought were yours slip through your fingers. You may feel like everything is shaking around you. In that moment, the enemy will try to whisper lies into your heart, telling you that God has forgotten you. But listen to me today. He has not forgotten you. He is preparing you. He is making room in your life for something greater. He is removing what is temporary so that He can give you what is eternal. Do not fight the discomfort. Embrace it, because that is the first sign that God is about to do something big. Another sign is that you will experience unusual resistance. When God is about to open a great door in your life, the enemy will do everything in his power to stop you from walking through it. Suddenly, you will find battles where there were none before. You will experience delays, disappointments, and distractions. People may turn against you for no reason. Situations may arise that test your faith like never before. But hear me today, do not be discouraged. The level of attack you are facing is a clue to the size of the blessing that is on the way. The devil does not fight what is not a threat. The enemy is not after where you are. He is after where you are going. And if the battle is intense, it means the breakthrough is near. Stand firm, keep praying, keep believing, because the storm will not last forever. On the other side of it, you will step into the promise God has prepared for you. Then, there will be a period of silence. Oh, how difficult it is to go through the silence of God. You have prayed, but there is no answer. You have sought, but the door remains closed. You have knocked, but nothing seems to move. It is in this silence that many people lose hope, that they turn away, that they begin to doubt. But let me tell you something. God's silence is not His absence. His delay is not His denial. When God is silent, He is working. When He is silent, He is testing your faith, refining your character, preparing you for what is coming. Some of the greatest miracles in history came after a period of divine silence. When Jesus was crucified and buried, heaven was silent for 3 days. But on the third day, the grave could not hold Him. The silence was just the setup for the greatest victory the world had ever seen. And if God is silent in your life right now, do not be discouraged. He is setting you up for something that will leave you in awe. Another sign that God is about to bless you in a big way is that He will call you to let go of something. It may be a relationship, a job, a habit, or even a dream that you have been holding on to for years. This is one of the hardest things to do because we naturally cling to what is familiar, to what feels safe. But God will not bless you with something new while your hands are still full of the old. Sometimes He will ask you to walk away from a place where you feel comfortable, just like He called Chosen One to leave his homeland and step into the unknown. Sometimes He will ask you to release something you love, just like He asked Chosen One to lay his son on the altar. But hear me today, when God asks you to let go, it is only because He has something greater in store. He is not taking from you. He is making room to give you more than you ever imagined. Then, my friends, there will come a deep sense of expectancy in your spirit. It is a feeling that something is about to shift, even if you cannot explain it. It is a knowing deep within you that God is up to something. You may not see it yet, but you can feel it. Doors that once seemed impossible suddenly begin to crack open. Opportunities come your way that you did not seek. Favor follows you where you go. People start speaking things into your life that confirm what God has already whispered to your heart, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are standing on the edge of something miraculous. So, my brothers and sisters, if you are seeing these signs in your life today, do not be afraid, do not resist, do not doubt. God is getting ready to do something big. The trials, the battles, the silence, the letting go, the expectancy, all of it is leading you to a moment of breakthrough that will change everything. Hold on to your faith. Keep your eyes on Him, because when God moves, He moves suddenly. When He blesses abundantly. And when He opens a door, no man can shut it. Get ready, because something big is coming. And when it comes, you will look back and know that every test, every tear, every struggle was worth it. Because you will see that God was working all along, preparing you for the blessing that was always meant to be yours. My friends, when God is about to bless you in a way you never expected, He will not only prepare the blessing, but He will also prepare you. So often we want the promise, but we do not want the process. We want the victory, but we do not want the battle. We want the crown, but we do not want the cross. But hear me today. Every great move of God in your life comes with a process of refinement. That process is not always easy, but it is always necessary. God will often take you through a season of isolation before He blesses you. Look at the great men and women of the Bible. Before their greatest victories, they went through seasons of being set apart. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading Israel out of Egypt. David was anointed king but spent years in hiding before he sat on the throne. Even Jesus, before He began His ministry, spent 40 days in the wilderness. Why? Because there are things God can only do in you when you are alone with Him. There are lessons you can only learn in the quiet place. There is a depth of faith that can only be developed when everything else is stripped away. If you are feeling isolated, if you are feeling like God has pulled you away from the crowd, do not be discouraged. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you for the next level, for the next chapter, for the next blessing. Trust Him. Stay faithful, stay expectant, because when God moves, He moves in ways beyond what you could ever ask, think, or imagine. Get ready, because the blessing is coming, and when it comes, it will leave you in awe of the greatness of our God. Once entertained, you will no longer find interest in the distractions that once occupied you. They will start to feel empty. You will find yourself craving the Word of God, desiring more time in prayer and longing for His voice. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign that God is drawing you closer because He is about to do something new in your life. When you feel this hunger, do not ignore it. Feed it. Seek Him like never before, because those who hunger and thirst for righteousness will be filled. At the same time, God will begin to shift the people in your life. Some relationships will naturally fall away. Some connections that once seemed strong will suddenly weaken. This is not rejection, this is redirection. God is removing people from your life who cannot go where He is taking you. Not everyone is meant to be part of your next season. Some people are only assigned to certain chapters of your journey, and when that chapter ends, their role in your story ends too. Do not hold on to what God is trying to move out of your way. Trust Him. He knows what He is doing. As He removes some people, He will also send new ones. He will connect you with those who will push you closer to Him, who will encourage you in your faith, and who will help you step into the destiny He has prepared for you. Another sign that God is moving is that He will challenge your faith like never before. He will ask you to take a step that does not make sense. He will lead you into a place where you have no choice but to trust Him completely. It may be a decision to leave a job, to start a new project, to move to a new place, or to step out in a way that feels risky. In that moment, fear will try to hold you back. Doubt will try to whisper in your ear. But let me tell you something. When God calls you, He will equip you. When He gives you a vision, He will make provision. When He tells you to move, He has already prepared the way. Do not let fear stop you from stepping into what God has for you. Walk by faith, not by sight. Trust Him even when you do not understand, because the greatest blessings are often on the other side of obedience. God will also test your patience. Sometimes the blessing is not delayed because God is withholding it. It is delayed because He is making sure you are ready to receive it. Many times we think we are prepared for what we are asking for, but God knows our hearts better than we do. He knows when the timing is right. If you are in a waiting season, do not lose heart. Do not grow weary. Keep trusting, keep believing, because when the blessing finally comes, you will see that it was worth every second of waiting. When the time is right, when everything is in place, when God has finished His work in you, then suddenly everything will change. Doors that were closed will fly open. Prayers that seemed unanswered will be fulfilled. Opportunities you never expected will come to you, and when it happens, you will look back and realize that every struggle, every delay, and every test was leading you to this very moment. But let me give you a word of caution. When the blessing comes, do not forget the one who gave it to you. So often we cry out to God in the valley, but when we reach the mountaintop, we forget who brought us there. We pray desperately when we are in need, but when the need is met, we drift away. Do not let that be your story. When God blesses you, stay humble. Keep seeking Him, keep serving Him, keep giving Him the glory. Because the blessing is not just for you, it is for His purpose. It is so that you can be a light in the darkness. It is so that you can be a testimony to others. It is so that you can use what He has given you to build His kingdom. And so, my friends, if you are seeing these signs in your life today, rejoice. You are on the edge of something incredible. You are standing at the threshold of a new season. Do not be afraid. Do not give up. Keep your eyes on Jesus, because when God moves, He moves in ways beyond what you could ever ask, think, or imagine. Get ready, because the blessing is coming, and when it comes, it will leave you in awe of the greatness of our God. My friends, when God is about to do something extraordinary in your life, the process may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Too often we focus on the blessing itself, but we fail to see the transformation that takes place in us before the blessing arrives. God does not just want to give you something, He wants to make you into someone. He is shaping you, molding you, refining you so that when the blessing comes, you will be able to handle it with wisdom, humility, and grace. One of the most important things to understand in this season is that God's ways are not our ways. The way He chooses to prepare you will often be different from what you expected. There will be times when nothing seems to make sense. Doors that should have opened remain closed. Prayers that seem certain to be answered are met with silence. Opportunities that once excited you are suddenly removed. In those moments, you will be tempted to think that God has forgotten you, that He has abandoned you. But let me remind you today, God does not forget His children. He does not abandon His promises. He does not start a good work in you only to leave it unfinished. If He is allowing delays, if He is leading you in unexpected directions, it is because He sees the bigger picture. He knows what you do not know. He sees the future that you cannot see, and what He is doing is always for your good. You see, before God gives you something big, He will teach you dependence. He will bring you to a place where you realize that He alone is your provider, your sustainer, your source. Many times we place our trust in people, in jobs, in finances, in our own abilities. But God will strip away every false security so that you learn to trust in Him alone. He will take you through seasons where all you have is Him, because when you learn that He is enough, you will be ready for what is coming next. God does not want you to depend on temporary things. He wants you to stand on the unshakable foundation of His Word. As you move closer to your breakthrough, you will notice that the enemy will try harder to distract you. The attacks will become more personal. The temptations will become stronger. The doubts will become louder. You may begin to question whether you heard God correctly. You may feel overwhelmed by fear. You may even feel the urge to turn back, to settle for less than what God has promised. But hear me today. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to stand firm. This is the time to press in. The enemy always fights hardest when he knows that something great is about to be released in your life. He wants to keep you from stepping into your calling. He wants to rob you of your destiny. Do not let him. Resist him with the word of God. Fill your mind with his promises. Surround yourself with people who will encourage your faith, not feed your fear. Keep moving forward, even when it feels hard, even when you cannot see the way, because what is waiting on the other side is greater than anything you could ever imagine. Another thing that happens when God is about to bless you is that he will test your heart. The blessings of God are not just about material things. They are about responsibility, about stewardship, about carrying his purpose. Before he releases the blessing, he will search your heart to see if you are truly ready. Will you still praise him when the blessing is delayed? Will you still serve him when things do not go according to your plan? Will you still trust him when the road is difficult? These are the moments that define your faith. God is looking for people who will remain faithful, who will keep their eyes on him no matter what, who will say, "Lord, I trust you, even when I don't understand." Because when your heart is right, the blessing will come in a way that will not only change your life, but will also glorify his name. As the moment of breakthrough draws near, you will begin to notice a supernatural alignment in your life. Suddenly, things that did not make sense before will begin to come together. The delays that once frustrated you will start to make sense. People you never expected to help you will step in at the right time. Doors that were closed will open effortlessly, and you will realize that it was never about your efforts. It was always about God's perfect plan. This is the moment when you must walk in faith, when you must step boldly into what he has called you to do. Do not hesitate. Do not hold back. When God says move, move. When he says go, go. Because his timing is perfect and his plans for you are good. But let me tell you this, when the blessing finally comes, it will not just be for you. God does not bless us just for our own benefit. He blesses us so that we can be a blessing to others. The favor he places on your life is meant to be shared. The resources he gives you are meant to be used to build his kingdom. The influence he grants you is meant to draw others closer to him. So when the blessing comes, do not hoard it. Do not become prideful. Do not forget where it came from. Use it for his glory. Use it to help those in need. Use it to bring light into the darkness. Because the greatest blessing of all is not in receiving, it is in giving, in serving, in being a vessel through which God's love and power can flow. And so, my friends, if you are seeing these signs in your life today, do not be discouraged. Do not give up. Do not let fear stop you. Keep pressing forward. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Because God is faithful. His promises never fail. And when he moves in ways that will leave you in awe. Something big is coming. Get ready. Stay faithful. And when it comes, give him all the glory, because he alone is worthy. As you walk this journey, you will begin to notice a shift in your mindset. The things that once worried you will no longer have the same power over you. The fears that once held you back will begin to fade. There will be a deep confidence in your spirit, not because of anything you have done, but because of the assurance that God is with you. You will begin to understand that no matter what happens, his plans for you are good. Even the trials, even the setbacks, even the moments of pain, none of it is wasted. Every step, every experience, every challenge has been preparing you for what is to come. There will also be a newfound strength in you. You will look back at the things that once would have made you anxious, and you will realize that they no longer shake you. You will see how God has built resilience in you, how he has strengthened your faith, how he has developed your character. What once would have broken you is now just a testimony of his faithfulness. And this strength is necessary because the greater the blessing, the greater the responsibility. God is not just elevating you, he is entrusting you. He is giving you something that must be handled with wisdom, with humility, and with gratitude. And then, just when you least expect it, the breakthrough will come. It may not come in the way you imagine, but it will come in the way that is best for you. It will come at the exact moment God has ordained. The waiting, the refining, the testing, it will all make sense. In that instant, you will stand in awe of what He has done. You will see how He worked everything together for your good. You will see how every tear, every prayer, every moment of faith has led to this divine fulfillment of His promise. And when it happens, you will know that it was never by your strength, but by His power alone. And so, in this moment before the blessing arrives, stay expectant, stay faithful, keep your eyes on Him, because when God is about to give you something big, He prepares you in ways you cannot always understand. But when it finally comes, you will see that every step of the journey was leading you to something far greater than you ever imagined. Stay ready, stay faithful, and watch as He moves in your life in a way that only He can. My friends, as you stand on the edge of this new season, know that everything you have walked through has been for a purpose. The trials, the waiting, the refining, it has all been leading you to the moment when God will reveal His promise in your life. Do not grow weary. Do not allow fear or doubt to shake you. If you are seeing these signs, take heart. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Stay faithful. Stay obedient. Keep your eyes on Him. Because when God moves, He moves in ways that will leave you in awe. And when the blessing comes, give Him all the glory, for He alone is worthy. Trust Him and watch as He unfolds a plan greater than anything you could have ever imagined. In life, there will be moments when everything feels uncertain, when doors seem closed and when prayers seem unanswered. But know this: God is working behind the scenes, preparing you for something greater. His blessings are not just about receiving, but about responsibility, stewardship, and purpose. If you are in a season of waiting, trust that He is refining you, building your faith, and aligning things for your breakthrough. When challenges arise, do not give up. Stay faithful. Keep praying. Keep believing. The enemy attacks most when a blessing is near. If you are facing resistance, take it as a sign that something big is coming. God's timing is perfect and His plans for you are good. Stay patient, stay obedient, and stay expectant. Most importantly, when the blessing comes, remain humble. Use what God has given you to uplift others, to spread light in darkness, and to glorify His name. If this message speaks to you, take a step of faith today. Follow and subscribe to the Chosen One YouTube channel for more inspiration, encouragement, and biblical wisdom to guide you on your journey. Stay strong, stay faithful, and get ready, because God is about to do something extraordinary in your life.